But there you go for men's basketball, the future Big 12, the 16 teams and 24-25. That's the net rankings for men's hoops. As best as one, as worst as 84. 16 teams, men basketball. Top 8. The worst is 27. It's going to be a gauntlet. So keep that in mind, Andy. Joe Mendez, D Skills, keep that in mind. Ladies next. Not quite as good. Not quite as good. 3 of the 4 highest or best net rankings will be coming from the pack. Utah at 8, Colorado at 20, and Arizona at 27. So the range is 8 to 194 for women's hoops. So there's a range there. And I've said it for a while here. Big 12 women's basketball is no longer elite, especially without Kim Mulkey coaching at Baylor.
Shout out to Coach Merriweather at Cincinnati.
She's coming. She's coming. She's going to turn things around at Cincinnati, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go into anything else because Andy gets on me about other things I say about other folks. All right. This is me talking here. 16-team Big 12 scheduling scenarios. All right. 18 conference games. You see that. This is what I'm thinking here.
Mm-hmm.
3 opponents twice, home and away. That's for 6. And then the remaining opponents you play once, each one time, either home or away. Just right there for that one. We'll get into discussion on the other part in a moment. What do you think about that? Playing the other 12 members of the conference just once, but you play them every year, either home or away every year.
That's so. I guess that's nice. I will focus on who would the 3 home and away be.
Right.
Have the exact same thinking.
Yeah.
So, we
would
could
it be
discuss
pods? Would it be rivalries?
Yeah.
Would it be
rivalries make
would it
more
rotate
sense
every year?
It'd be discussed. You know, who would the rival be? Would it be Baylor? If it's 3, would it be Baylor, Kansas, TCU? I don't know. What's better for everyone involved, for the conference, for the media partners? Got to keep them in mind too. Keep them happy. So who knows? I'm not sure, but that is something to be considered. But 20 conference games, 5 opponents twice, home and away, and then 10 opponents once, home or away. And of course, a reminder, this is the 16-team Big 12. So you're playing
subject to change.
Yes. Well, we think it's still going to be 16 teams. We do not see Gonzaga and UConn coming for hoops only. But that's my next slide and scenario.
Well, not those teams.
But in that discussion, yes, but I think the next season, UH and Kansas, they don't play twice. So that's one reason why they're playing in Mexico. But I think in one of the years projected, they don't play twice. So it's not going to be home and away. It's just going to be one. That surprised me when I heard that. And I was like, y'all sure about that? Because that's 2 of the top programs in the country, not just in the conference. You just don't want to have them play each other one time? I say all this, Big 12 hoops, Big 12 men's hoops should be spectacular. Competitive conference game in every night in, night out. Going to 20 conference games, that will cut down on some of the non-conference games. It will give, I think, better content to your media partners if you have 20 conference games.
It would give more quad 1 opportunities for your members.
That too, you give a chance to play 5 teams twice rather than just once. That's also a benefit. All of this, because that's my scenario. What if the Big 12 folks say, well, we're not going to play everybody every year. We got 16 teams. They're going to be some opponents we don't see every year. We'll play them every other year, like in football. because the bigger the conference gets, the less chance you have to face each other every year.
Right.
So yes, you may have more quality games in theory, but like the SEC prior to this coming season, who was it? Give me an example. Like Georgia hadn't been to College Station like what until last season or something. They're like examples.
It had been
Never.
8 years
Yeah.
or never.
Ever.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. So in a hoops scenario, I hope they avoid that and just try to face everyone once, whether it's on the road or at home. You know, you rotate it out. So K-State come to UH this season, UH goes to Manhattan next season, but you at least face everyone in your conference. What do you think about that, Andy, Will, D Skills, Big Thrillo? Maybe I should be hired for as a consultant for the conference. Come cut the check, Will.
Absolutely. Please believe it. Please believe it.
Andy, what do you think?
When you look at it from a matchup standpoint, if you're in the Big 12, you're assuming that the men's basketball is going to remain as the premier men's basketball conference. When you look at the net rankings, I think that's what makes more sense logically if you just want to make sure that equally every team gets an opportunity to host the big programs at their place and then have to go travel and go pay them a visit within the 2-year window. I do think that if you're looking at it where it's, equally everyone should have an opportunity. I think what gets more tricky is when the TV networks, when the conference itself wants to make sure that the top schools each year play at least twice, because then there's more ratings, there's more from a TV perspective. Obviously, that's going to garner more eyeballs for the networks and the conference themselves. So I'm not sure which way would make more sense for the conference. I guess financially, making sure that certain schools play each other twice every year makes more sense, but that's why they don't pay me the big bucks, Chris.
What do you in audience, what do y'all prefer? 18 games or 20 conference games?
From an audience perspective,
18 or 20?
I would say
Will, where's the
20,
Big Ten
so
in
you
that
could see
18.
18.
I think the ACC is at 20. If they're not at 20, they have been discussing it for the ACC network for content on that network.
Right.
But
I mean, I'm a purist. I'm a traditionalist. I would love a round robin. I know it won't happen because of the financial considerations that Andy just discussed. But I would love a round robin. Everybody, the Big 18 right now, soon to be Big 20. With that scenario, you have the 17. You play your natural rival twice, and everybody else once. So
we got 2 20s and 1 18. Miss Wanda, why are you only 1 18? I'm kind of curious at that.
So I don't know.
All right, T.I. sided with Miss Wanda. Why you want to go? I really want to say 20, but I got to go with 18. Why is that? I'm curious. And let me add, one of the things Mr. John Williams mentioned in his interview with me from, was it April? That because they no longer have the SEC Big 12 basketball challenge, in order to still have quality Q1, Q2 opponents or games in non-conference, that there will be that's discussed. Not sure if it's been finalized, but I think it's being discussed to have Big 12 teams face each other at a neutral site in December. So it'd be a Q1, Q2 game, but those matchups would not count as conference games. So that is being discussed.